If you love food, science, and music, and let's face it, who doesn't, then you should come to Broadway Thanksgiving week to see Alton Brown live Eat Your Science. I sat down with the Food Network host at the Renaissance Hotel to talk turkey. So Alton Brown, thank you for doing this today.
You're welcome.
Are you excited to make your Broadway debut?
Excitement mixed with an equal portion of terror, because you can play houses all around the country. Big ones, big, nice ones. It's not the same though. Broadway is Broadway, and your first time is it's not something I'm going to forget, that's for sure.
So you've been touring the show for a while now.
Well, actually, this show, Eat Your Science, which is my second live show,
right,
we took out for 7 weeks in the spring, but that's all. So it's only played about 40 cities so far, and we're making some holiday changes to it because we'll be playing Thanksgiving week. So.
Yeah, how great that you're playing Thanksgiving week, which is probably the most food-focused holiday there is.
And it gets me out of actually having to make Thanksgiving dinner this year.
You won't be making the final turkey from...
I won't be making the final turkey. I am expected to take my entire crew to dinner, but I couldn't find a place to cook for them all, so we're going out.
Chinatown?
So.
Chinatown's always open on Thanksgiving, right?
Indeed it is.
Anywhere's there.
You can have ducks with the heads cut off. Yeah. Fa ra 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 ra.
So for people who have not seen your show live...
Which is, by the way, most people.
Which is perhaps most people, or your other show...
The Edible Inevitable Tour.
I'm just going to say it backwards. The Edible Inevitable Tour. It's very hard to say.
I actually forget it was Evitable Inevitable or Edible Inevitable. I think it's Edible Inevitable. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Wow.
Don't be impressed.
But for people who haven't seen it,
sure,
can you describe it a little bit?
It is a culinary variety show. Almost vaudevillian in its origins, but it was more inspired by the Sonny and Cher show from the 70s than it was anything else. So it's very large, very unusual, potentially dangerous food demonstrations, the likes of which one could not. You're looking at me sideways. Trust me, I like to say at the beginning of the show that it's all about things that no one would let me do on TV. Believe me, the demonstrations no one would ever let me do on television. They're large, and sometimes the audience isn't in danger. I occasionally am. There's a lot of audience interaction. Volunteers come up and have to basically run the show a few times during the show. There are filmed pieces, so it's a multimedia variety show. About food.
Puppets.
Puppets.
Surprises.
Surprises.
What's the most dangerous thing you're doing up there?
I can't tell you because it would give away too much.
Okay, you have to come see it.
Actually, the most dangerous thing that I do on stage is probably, there's some things that I have to do on an extremely tall ladder while things are flying in and out from the ceiling, and occasionally, once I got hit on the head on top of the ladder. And there's also a thing with some gases that I almost passed out from. I'm going to be fine. Odds are very good I will survive all 8 of the performances.
I'm really excited that you're going to be surviving
I'd
this.
like to. Of course, nobody wants to die on Broadway in any form.
This is true, in any form.
And the Barrymore Theater is quite close to Hamilton, so we're just going to soak up some of the vibe.
Now, are you a Broadway fan?
I was a theater major, so yeah. I'm a theater fan in general, Broadway, wherever I can get it.
What are some of your favorite Broadway shows?
I think the very first thing, somebody asked me this, and I was trying to think of what the very, very first thing that I saw on Broadway was, and it was a long time ago, but I saw the original New York cast of Sweeney Todd, and I still remember that. I was pretty young
That's
at the
quite
time.
a food show.
Yeah, that is a food show. So my first show on Broadway was a food show.
I mean, those pies are the worst
pies in London.
You love to geek out over science in the kitchen.
I do.
But you also really value the connection that food creates between people.
Indeed.
Do you see parallels to doing this live in front of an audience?
Absolutely. And I see parallels certainly with the popularity of food media. Food is one of the last few bits of connective tissue that we all have in our culture as we become more scattered and shattered through the internet mostly. We can have thousands and thousands of cultures and societies, but we still need food. And if you talk to anthropologists, one of the things that they'll tell you is that all people groups on Earth, no matter how cosmopolitan or how remote, New York City, middle of a jungle in New Guinea, people like to eat together, like to do 2 things. They want to eat together and laugh together. And those are singular human characteristics. And so I think that whether it's a show on television or a live show in a theater, I think food is a valid binding agent between people. And I think especially in a live environment.
When people have to cook for you, do they get nervous?
They do, but they shouldn't. I'm super unjudgy about food. I'm just, whenever anybody will cook for me, I just thank you and I eat it, and I'm happy to. I'm not. Although I can be critical of food, I'm never judgy about people serving me food.
Your newest cookbook, Everyday Cook, is a very personal cookbook for you.
My food.
It's your food. It's
Just my food.
It's your tableware. It's your pots and pans and everything,
It's
right?
all mine.
It's all yours.
Yeah, I actually do plate in a 1974 Mercury hubcap.
Maybe a little bit eccentric, just a teeny.
I didn't think I was very eccentric until we did the book, and then I realized, oh, nobody else is plating crackers in a Kodak slide carousel. People just aren't doing it.
But they should.
I think anything that you can put food on to change your perspective on it is worth thinking about.
With the proliferation of internet recipes and cookbooks, do you ever feel like there should be a recipe that you don't share? Like, you know, someone's grandma doesn't want to give away the recipe.
Sure, and I actually think there's nothing wrong with families having secret recipes. I had an aunt that went to her grave not giving me the recipe I wanted for coconut cake, and I must have spent years trying to figure out how to make it. And I'm actually kind of glad that in the end I didn't have the recipe. I had to try to figure it out myself.
Did you figure it out?
I came real close. There's still something I'm missing. There is a living relative that knows what it is that's missing, but that person's not talking either. So my hope is that relative will eventually one day need a kidney, and I'll be a match, and I'll be like, no, I'm going to keep my kidney because you kept the secret to the pie, to the cake.
So, true or false? When you go to a restaurant and you enjoy your meal, you steal something from the restaurant?
I don't know where you would have heard something like that. That's a horrible. Yeah, I do. I very often memorialize a meal by collecting something, by having a memento.
Just something little. You're not
little.
cooking.
No, my thing is check trays. The little check tray. Yeah, I've accidentally.
What do you do with them though? You collect them.
I have them. I have them all on my coffee table at home.
And you
Like,
remember
I remember
that.
this. Yeah, because what I do is I write on the back of it what the meal was. I know of 2 restaurants that saw me do it and didn't stop me.
They didn't want to cause
And then
a scene.
one, I told them that I was going to steal it, and they laughed. So technically that's not stealing because I told them.
Right, it was a gift.
It was a gift.
Here's my question. Do you think...
By the way, thanks for blowing me on that, because now, what am I going to...
We'll have to start something
gonna
else.
start-
You'll just pull out the phone and take a picture like everybody else.
No, I'll take a plate.
But my question is, when you leave the Barrymore Theater, when you're done with your Broadway debut...
Am I going to steal something?
Yeah, what are you going to snag? What do you think you're going to snag from the Barrymore Theater?
I don't know. I've only toured backstage once, so I'll have a few days to kind of figure it out. It'll be something. It'll be something. It might be like one of the
doorknob.
No, it'll be like, I tend to steal flat things, so it's the thing. So maybe it'll be like one of the emergency route, placards or something like that I know is easily replaceable, and I'll can stick it in my sock or something.
Well, I'm really excited to see your show.
Thank you.
I'm really excited for Broadway to spend Thanksgiving with you.
I'm excited to spend Thanksgiving with Broadway.
Are you going to be feeding your audience?
There's a yes and there's a no. If you are a volunteer, if you're chosen to be a volunteer, you definitely will partake in some things. And depending on where you're sitting in the theater, there might be food.
Interesting.
I've already said too much.
Yes, we have to keep it quiet.
Please, yes.
Do you think any of your Food Network colleagues should come to Broadway?
I would like to think that I'm the only one.
Well, I think you're the only triple
I
threat.
would love to think that I'm the only Food Network person that could do a Broadway show. I'm sure I'm wrong.
Well, not everyone was a theater major.
Not everybody's. Look, this is all about me just trying to get back at my mother, who said that theater degree will never get you anywhere. And the other day I sent her, a picture from in front of the Barrymore, and I was like, and I'm sorry, we don't have any more comm tickets left. Bye, Mom.
I'm a Broadway star now.
Well, I didn't say a Broadway star, but at least she can't say the theater degree didn't work.
No way.
No.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.